everyone, welcome back to another Anything for Life tutorial on the Kobo Libra color. So this is the updated version for my viewers out there who do not have a Windows machine. So this is the tutorial of how to install the NickelMenu on the Kobo Libra color on the Mac. So this is the part 2 of the other NickelMenu video for Mac users. So basically, what you'll need for this tutorial is a few things. You'll need 3 things in total. Number 1, you'll need a Kobo Libra color, or any Kobo device in general, actually. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to be using the Kobo Libra color. Then, we have here a USB-C cable. This is the cable that connects from your Kobo to your Mac. Either you can get the Thunderbolt cable, any Thunderbolt cable, to Thunderbolt cable, or just use the one that came originally with the Kobo Libra color. It doesn't really matter. Although you will need to use a USB dongle if you're doing that. Something to remind you. And the final thing you need is a MacBook, obviously. So why don't we get started? So let's hop over to my desktop. Okay, so I am now on my MacBook now. So after you've grabbed all your things, such as the USB cable, the Kobo Libra color, and your MacBook, what you want to do now is you want to head on in your MacBook. You want to head on to any browser of your choice. I'm going to be using Comet, an AI browser by Perplexity, but you can use any browser you want, like Chrome or Edge or whatever you use. All right. So you head on Comet. Once you've arrived at Comet or any browser you're choosing, go into the new tab and search up the NickelMenu. Just search up the NickelMenu. Click Enter. Then, in the NickelMenu, you want to click out, you'll see either 2 links. Either you'll see the pgaskin.net or you'll see the GitHub repository. Either one works. I'm going to go to the developer's website, pgaskin. So I'm going to open up pgaskin's NickelMenu. Now, this is the NickelMenu home website. And, alright, maybe that's not the prettiest website you've seen on the planet, but it gets the job done. So, what you want to do is on the Mac, just look at the version and all the firmware stuff, and we're going to be following the installation procedure followed in the pgaskin website. So the first thing we're going to do is connect our Kobo e-reader through USB or my Thunderbolt connector. It doesn't matter. So let's hop over to my Kobo. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to grab your Kobo here. This is the Kobo I have right now. That's my Mac. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab my cable. So this is the cable I have. I'm just going to click find the port here, which will be somewhere here. So because it's Thunderbolt, it doesn't matter how you connect it. Then you want to connect the other side of the to here. So I'm just going to quickly plug that in there. And so now what you want to do is you want to head over to your thing. My password. I'm going to put in my password. Hold on, just quickly, give me a sec. Then I put in my password, so you're just going to wait for it to unlock. Then what you want to do now is you want to head into so now it's connected, right? So what you want to do is just open it again, because I forgot to do that. So just unplug it, connect it back in. If it's not connecting, just click connect it back in. Then you want to just click connect on your Kobo, and then they get connected. So now we'll head back to our Mac to finish the setup. I'll see you there. Okay, so I'm back onto the Mac now. So now that we have connected our Kobo e-reader to our Mac, what we'll need to do now is to download the KoboRoot.tgz. And as you can see, the website is pgaskin.net/NickelMenu. I'm going to leave it linked in the description below. So go ahead. It should be popping up anytime now. Then what we'll need to do is we'll need to download the KoboRoot.tgz. So how you do that is you just want to head on to NickelMenu, go click the download KoboRoot.tgz. Just click download. Okay, done. It's downloaded. So what you want to do now is once you've seen that the KoboRoot.tgz is downloaded, you want to just keep it there, right? You don't really need to interact with it until we can move on to the next step. The next step is heading on to the Kobo e-reader thing. So as you can see here, you'll see the Kobo e-reader on your desktop. So I'll just click Kobo e-reader, and this is all my stuff. This is all the stuff I have here. It's just all my books through Calibre and stuff. What you'll find if you're on a Mac, you will find that once you open up, you'll see all this stuff. You'll see all your books and stuff that's downloaded here. It's all the stuff you have. But what you'll notice is that you won't find what we're looking for. And the thing what we're looking for is the Kobo e-reader /.kobo. So the .kobo folder is what we're trying to look for. And as you can see here, the Kobo e-reader doesn't show any .ads folder. You didn't see anything at the start. So instead, there's a command that you'll have to use to show hidden items on a Mac. That's Command Shift period. I'm gonna just click Command Shift period, and boom. Now all these files have appeared. Now what we'll need to do is you want to head over to the .kobo folder. I'm gonna head up to the .kobo folder, and there you go. This is the .kobo folder now. In the .kobo folder, you want to grab this KoboRoot.tgz, drag it over. Oh, so you want to take this, maybe let's do that. Open up the Finder. There we go. Grab the download and just head it in there. So now the KoboRoot.tgz is inside your .kobo folder. Now, what you want to do is you'll just want to eject your Kobo e-reader. So I'm just going to click eject. And boom, it's gone. So now it's ejected. So once it's been once that happens, you'll start to notice your Kobo e-reader updating. So let's head to that now. Okay, so it's now rebooting once you've connected, as you can see here. It's just gonna quickly do something. It's just gonna reflash the new firmware. It's gonna update really quickly. It's just gonna quickly update. It's gonna add the NickelMenu, all that stuff with the KoboReader.tgz. So just give it a minute for it to think. And one more thing is, do not power off the Kobo e-reader. So just leave it as it is. So it's gonna turn on. It'll take as much time as it needs. So I'm going to enter my PIN. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I have now logged back into the Kobo, if it will work. There we go. So now what we're going to notice now is we're going to notice in the we'll see this new thing called NickelMenu. Look at that, it's the NickelMenu. But just press it. It's not doing much, hey. It's not doing much. There's not much stuff we can do. Oh, wait. See Kobo e-reader. See Kobo e-reader. nm/doc for instructions for this, how to configure the menu. Well, why don't we do that? So the next step for this tutorial, we'll be back on our Mac. So let's just switch correctly onto our Mac. Okay, so we're back on here. So now what we want to do now is that because we have NickelMenu now we'll need to configure it to understand what it shall do. Now, to do this, you'll need to go back into the Kobo e-reader section. So to do that, you'll do the exact same thing as before. That is, take your Kobo e-reader. This is my Kobo e-reader. Take your Kobo e-reader. Then disconnect the cable and connect it back in. Then, once it's connected, you should see allow, all that stuff. Click connect on your Kobo e-reader and boom, it should appear in like a few seconds. Boom, there you go. So now you'll notice you find this new handy dandy folder called .ads. We'll just click open it and we'll see something called NM. I'm gonna press open MN and we'll see this thing called doc. Now doc is something that we'll be using quite just to understand what NickelMenu can do. And this is documentation for NickelMenu. So I'm just gonna open up the doc. Now it will be like it's gonna be as if it's a terminal. So we don't want all this stuff. So I'm just gonna click close out of that. The reason is because natively it natively opens to the it natively opens as a Unix terminal on Mac, even though on Windows it just opens it up as if it's a TXT. What we can do instead is we'll just have to click what we will need to do is click open with, choose an app. What I'm going to be choosing is just say all applications. Choose text edit. Let's see if I can find the text edit here somewhere. We'll find it here. Time machine text edit. Here we go. Let's open that. And then boom, we'll see our NickelMenu documentation. And this is a little bit hard because there's so many things you can do with NickelMenu. It's just impossible for me to make a whole video on this. So to make all that work, I'm going to make it a really simple thing, a really simple configuration file that I've made myself. So this is, you don't need to make the configuration file yourself, which is like the thing that lets you have all the menu items in the NickelMenu. So what you want to do is you just want to either download my config file, which is called nmconfig. I'll show you what all that stuff it has in there, or otherwise just download any other config file you on the internet, or better yet, do it yourself, which I honestly wouldn't recommend. So what we'll want to do then is I have this thing called Kobo files, and this is the Kobo files that I have, and it contains the nmconfig. So I'll show you what that does in a second, but I'll show you how you can download it your very own yourself. This will be linked down into the description, so you can check the description. You should be able to find that. It's a Google Drive, and I'll just open it up here. It's the Kobo Google Drive, and you just want to download it here. There are no viruses or anything, but if you really don't trust me, then hey, I'm just a random guy on the internet, right? So what we'll do then is, if you want to download my nmconfig, then go ahead. I'll just show you what it has. I'm going to open it up with text edit. So once I open it up in text edit, what we'll see here, so what you want to see when you open it up is you should see this entire thing of nmconfig. And this nmconfig is loads of things you can do here. The first thing is it will check your kernel version. You can always click any of this stuff to do whatever you want, ever. There's a sketch pad here for like making like little notes on your Kobo. Plato, if you have Plato, this is very useful. KFmon, if you also need KFmon. I'll explain all that a little bit briefly a little bit later. We can invert the screen to make it dark mode. We can invert the orientation, as in like landscape, portrait, etc. You can do your IP address, which is like where you're currently connected. You can import books. You can invert the screen. You can open up pop-up. You can show the device owner, which is like you can set up all by yourself. I'll leave this one blank in the actual download. Then you'll have the send to Kobo, which is a very useful thing, especially if you have some download, like if you have a file and you want to send it over to the Kobo. Really quickly you can do that without touching the cable or anything. You can just go to send.djaz.se. It's a really good app, trust me. Really good website. It's really good, just trust me. It's really easy, and this is really useful if you have this in your nmconfig. Then we have connect to USB. So if you eject your Kobo and you want it to connect again, you can just do that. You can have dark mode, obviously, sleep, reboot, and power off. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do with this, and honestly, there's just so much. So yeah, I hope you can also do whatever you want with this. I've seen that this is most of the stuff you can do, although there is some other things you can do that is a little bit more technical and a little bit harder to explain, and stuff like that. So I'm going to close out of this nmconfig, and once you've made an nmconfig file or just downloaded it from me, you're going to just drag that over. You're going to open a new tab, by Command N. Then open up your KoReader, go to .ads.nm, then drag over the nmconfig, and boom, it's just there. So now you have a file called doc and you have a file called nmconfig. You can delete the doc if you want, but honestly, there's not really any point. So after that's done, just click eject. The KoReader will get ejected, and boom, voila. Let's go back to our Kobo e-reader. Okay, so you can see that the NickelMenu is still here, right? So what you want to do now is open up NickelMenu, and you see all this stuff. Look at that. There's just so much here you can do with the NickelMenu. And for example, I still have the cable connected, so let me just disconnect that. Let me just close out of that. Open up NickelMenu. Then what I'll do is, let me just show you one of the things you can do. For example, let's see dark mode. We click dark mode. I'll open up. Yeah, there we go. It did work. Sorry, my bad, guys. So yeah, you can do that. So yeah, you can do dark mode. You can power it off through the NickelMenu. You can get your IP address, which for obvious reasons I'm not going to show. And yeah, there's just so much you can do here. You can add your own stuff. It's endless, honestly. Honestly, it's just endless. So yeah. If you don't like the NickelMenu for whatever reason, you can always uninstall it. And that might seem like a little bit of a big deal. I'll also show you how to do that a little bit. Show it now, actually. So I'll just show you how you can easily uninstall the NickelMenu if you ever want to. And yeah, so why don't we head back over to the Mac. Alright guys, so what we'll need to do to uninstall the NickelMenu, if you ever need to, is you'll need to go over, connect your e-reader, obviously. So what you want to do is you want to go into your own thing. I'm going to open up in my Kobo files. I'm going to click So it might be a little bit hard for you to create a new file. And unlike Windows, you can't just go right click, new, and then create a file. No. It's a little bit harder in Mac. What you want to do is open up text edit. And there'll be a whole load of stuff here. So what we'll need to do now, if I can, what you'll need to do is you'll need to head over to your, oops, sorry, let me open up my desktop, whichever that is, the Kobo files. So what you want to do is you want to click a new document, Command S, then you want to click uninstall. So it's just a normal thing, just write uninstall. It doesn't matter, I mean, it matters how you spell it, just write uninstall, like correct spelling. We'll touch the file format a little bit later. So I'll click save. Then I'll close that. Then we'll get this text thing called uninstall. I'll move it to my Kobo files. Then if we open it, this will open up as a text editor, which is not what we want. We want this to have no extension whatsoever. So what you want to do is you want to do this. Then you want to click. You want to go into get info, which I'll find somewhere, get info. The alternative is to do Command I. Once you have the uninstall info, then what you want to do is you want to click name and extension. And it's going to, by default, it's going to be uninstall.rtf. So you want to click delete that and just delete it completely and just click enter. And you say if you want to remove the extension, just say yes, I want to remove it. Click close and boom, that's done. Then what you want to do is connect to your Kobo to your Mac. Then you want to drop this uninstall into the nm folder in the .ads. So you want to navigate to the .ads folder. Then you want to go into the from .ads. You want to move to the nm folder. Then you want to move into that and then drop your uninstall file there. Don't need to touch anything else. Then eject your Kobo e-reader, and then maybe you'll notice that, hey, the NickelMenu is still not gone. Well, what you need to do is you need to power off your Kobo, and when it's turning on, immediately turn it off again. And then when you turn it back on after that, the NickelMenu should have disappeared. All right. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it helps you. And if you just watch the entire tutorial without having a Mac and you actually have a Windows, then don't worry, because as I said before, I have made a tutorial just for this. The video will be here, somewhere here. The video will be here. So make sure to watch that if you don't have a Mac. And yeah, hope you have a wonderful day. Oh, and like and subscribe. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.